back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
Several months ago, the Outsider Racing League began their inaugural season at the Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Now, in chase race number 4, we return to the 2.5-mile speedway, but this time, the track is a little bit longer. It's going to be 3.4 miles tonight because we are taking on the road course, the 3rd road course of the season, and perhaps the one with the most anticipation. The Daytona road course has 11 turns and it's only been used in sports cars until now. My name's Kyle Heyer alongside Finney for tonight's chase race number 4 of the Outsider Racing League, and we've seen some spectacular racing recently from Bristol, Gateway, and all sorts of tracks all over the country, but now we head to another road course race to get this one underway. Finney, and the points battle getting very, very close as we close in on the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. After tonight, we're only going to have 2 more rounds at Rockingham and Atlanta, but as we go into tonight, Eli Hinton is leading the points over Jeff Wright after what happened last week at Gateway, which saw Jeff Wright retiring early on in the race. Eli Hinton was able to take advantage of that, and he currently holds the lead, but it's not by much. It's going to be very close between these guys over these next 3 rounds. And also, if you want to throw in Elliott Butler, he's not too far behind either. In case something happens to the leaders, he's down there 15 points behind Eli Hinton.
So up towards the top of the point standings, it's very, very close. This racetrack, though, Finney, is extremely challenging. I think we're riding on board with Reggie Ortega here. I'm not sure if he's going to race all the way down to turn number 1, but I want to just ride on board with Reggie just for a moment to take a look at this high-speed turn number 1. Let's ride on board here as we head off into the corner. You're going to get on the brakes hard, and then you have to turn left on a flat corner. There's no banking here. Downshifting all the while down into about 2nd gear. Get really close to the inside of the racetrack and accelerate off. It's a very, very challenging corner. The brakes are going to get really, really hot here tonight, Phoenix. So how do you manage to make your car last over a race that's 40 laps long here in a car that's clearly not meant for this track?
I think definitely it's going to be a matter of managing those tires. You're going to be wanting to go, wanting to stretch the run out quite a bit to maximize the fuel. And so you're also going to want to be as long as you can on these tires without burning them out. It's very easy to burn them out, considering how hot the braking zones are going to turn 1 and the bus stop coming off the oval.
All right, drivers to watch tonight, Finney. I think we have to take a look at this 18 of Alec Martinez. Quite skilled at the road courses. Seems to do better with the higher power package. Eli Hinton, number 13. He's been really good lately. Probably should have won at Gateway last week. Also very, very good at the road courses as well. Sitting 5th right now in qualifying the course. The 48 of Jeff Wright. Looks like he hasn't made at least a great effort at qualifying. Only sitting 10th right now, but that 48 car going to be extremely competitive at the road course. Zezzy has been all season long. Remember, he almost won the Indianapolis road course back a couple months ago, and almost won, so actually did win Sonoma as well. So let's keep an eye on that 48. Reggie Ortega in the number 2 ran really well at Mid-Ohio at the VRL race last night. And we'll keep an eye on some others throughout the field. Matt White on the racetrack right now. He just came to a sliding stop in the bus stop chicane on the back straightaway. Martin Sproul, new to the series a couple weeks ago and already running very, very competitively. So we'll see if this number 19 Chevrolet Camaro can be a formidable foe tonight. But Yusuf Ghali on top of the board, Finney, with a 140.029. That is a really, really good lap time.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of Yusuf lately, either in attendance or just up in the top where we usually expect him to be. But here he is leading by 7/10 of a second over Aegis Rivato in 2nd on the time sheet. So great job by the 1 car, and we'll see if he can carry that into the race, because I definitely think he can, because he's one of the fastest guys out there.
Austin Karp in the number 9 Clover machine. This is a driver we haven't seen around a whole lot either. Angelo Ronis out on the racetrack with a Valvoline car. Look at the brake rotors glowing on that number 29 already, Finney. And conserving your equipment, and your tires especially, going to be extremely important to make sure you make it to the end of the race. Again, on the left-hand side of your screen, there's the tower of the ticker, and the drivers lit up in gold are your chase drivers. Eli Hinton, the best qualified of them so far. Maybe that's a bit surprising to us here so far. Maybe we thought Jeff Wright would have qualified a bit better. Currently all the way down in 12th, so he must not have gotten a great lap. Elliott Butler in the 6th, also surprised he didn't qualify a little bit better. Currently last of the cars that have qualified, going for a second lap right now. Taking another look at our track map here tonight. 3.5 miles, 11 turns, and of course the NASCAR banking in use here, but the infield road course and the back straightaway chicane going to be in use as well. The other thing to note, Finney, is that this is probably going to be one of the longest races of the year, even without yellow flags. So not only keeping your equipment underneath you, but keeping your head in the game in a race that's this long. It's going to be a challenge for the drivers. It's going to be a challenge for the competitors to race each other without making each other angry. We saw that a lot last week at Gateway. We'll see if they can make it through the entire race without having any issues. AJ Stravado coming to a stop here in the tri-oval section. As qualifying concludes, it's going to be Yusuf Ghali on pole in that number 1 car. One to watch tonight for sure. Stravado second, Cabot third, Martin Sprout, Eli Hinton, your top 5 as qualifying concludes. And we're going to get ready to go racing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Again, my name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finney Nakuna for Sim TV. This is the only race we have to do until Tuesday with the Grid Life Stadium Super Trucks for their final round of the season. That will be coming up on Tuesday. Then, of course, the Sim TV League All-Star Race, Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Watch 10 drivers from each of the leagues on Sim TV compete in a battle to the death at Michigan Speedway and Watkins Glen. All at Wednesday night, 9:30. You're going to have IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman there highlighting the field, DJ Alessandrini, Chad Frankenfield, Matt Gruenberg, and many others to speak of from all sorts of leagues all over the Sim TV coverage. So looking forward to that one on Wednesday night. Don't miss that race. Field gridding up to go racing here, Finney. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. On the front row, going to be Yusuf Ghali in that number 1, AJ Stravado in that 33. How about AJ, Finney? And ever since he switched that number from 9 to 33, it seems like he's certainly turned his luck around, but still isn't probably running quite as well as he would like to.
Yeah, probably. Especially last week, it was looking really good for him. Things unfortunately didn't turn out that way. Also having some internet issues tonight. He's been blinking quite a bit. Hopefully, he keeps that at least somewhat stable.
And I think an interesting note to actually load it in here, Finney. I didn't know we were running the night race here. Lights are dim, but they are on. And the track temp is 64 degrees. The air temp is 64 as well. It's going to be fast. It's going to be grippy. We're going to lay down lots of rubber. But it's a 40-lap race. It should be about 1 hour and 7 minutes if it goes green from start to finish. But that's pretty long, all things considered. So they're all lining up to get ready. Over 20 cars here tonight. The field relatively deep, and there's a lot of road course ringers. You mentioned we haven't seen Yusuf Ghali around a whole lot. Well, he's back here for tonight. Jeff Wright didn't qualify very well, but I consider him a ringer. Eli Hinton as well. So there's the rest of the running order scrolling along the bottom of your screen here. Expectations for tonight, Finney. Are drivers going to leave each other room, or think we're going to see a little bit of bumping and banging? How do you expect this track to race with these stock cars?
I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of beat and bang probably on the infield part of the course. I can't imagine guys doing it on the oval or through the bus stop. I think that's just an asking to get put off the track. But yeah, it should be interesting. I'm also quite intrigued of how the oval section is going to work. Are we going to be seeing these guys draft up and getting runs at each other into the oval, into turn 1 or the bus stop, or will it be kind of just normal following each other like it's a straightaway? So interested in seeing how that works with these high downforce cars.
Lots of questions in the air for tonight's 40-lap race at the Daytona International Speedway road course. Everyone rolling through the bus stop. Next time they come through here, they'll be doing well over 190 miles an hour into the braking zone for this corner. Of course, Yusuf Ghali in that number 1 Toyota on the inside lane. AJ Stravado on the outside in his Toyota Camry. Then it's a pair of Camaros behind, riding shotgun here for this start of this race. So it's going to be a rush down to turn number 1. This is going to be a trouble spot all night long. We're going to see people locking up, over driving, and it all comes down to this race. Chase race number 4. Yusuf Ghali on the pole as they roll through NASCAR turn 4. It's going to be a fun one tonight. The flag man has the flag in hand as we roll out of the final corner. The pace car is going to pull off. The next time we see these cars through this section, they'll be doing 200 miles an hour. The fastest road course we've been to all season is about to begin. On Sim TV, Here we go, chase race number 4. Flagman has the green flag in hand, Yusuf Ghali in control. Green flag flies, we're racing at the Daytona Road Course.
Yeah, a fantastic start for Yusuf Ghali, and ooh, even there you see right in behind Adam Cabot looking to the inside of Ghali in turn 1. Eli Hinton on the outside.
Whoa, it's going to be 3 wide for a moment heading down into the corner, but Ghali takes the lead away from the 77 who took a look down into the corner. Hinton all the way up into second place already. Strong move. Everyone gets through there clean and powers off towards turn number 2.
Yeah, and Eli Hinton to the inside, Adam Cabot. He'll got on by. Fantastic start for that 13 car, starting in 5th all the way up into 2nd. After only a few turns.
So far, so clean. The field side by side. Great, clean start. Very respectful. There's the 20 of Zach Halpern trying to work over the 6 of Elliott Butler as they head to the West Horseshoe. This is going to get really interesting. Down through here, Ghali down on the brakes down to 2nd gear. Hinton all the way takes up 2nd place behind him. It's Martin Sproul, Adam Cabot. And there's Reggie Ortega in the background, Alec Martinez. He's following them. I see the 21 of Brian Chambliss taking a look at the 29 of Ronis as they head back onto the NASCAR section.
And they head back into the NASCAR section. Let's actually see if we can ride on board with someone that's really close together to see if they can get a run from the draft.
Trying to find someone that is particularly close. How about Adam Cabot right behind Eli Hinton with a full head of steam down into the braking zone for the inner loop. On the brakes, tiptoeing through here the first time through.
Yeah, this is a really tricky part of the track. You slow down so much into a very tight complex of turns. And I have to get the power down and up to speed.
Amazing. Everybody made it through there clean. And up to speed again. So we're going to try to find, how about Martin Sproul riding in 8th place right now? He's, maybe some issue there. Maybe got a cut course as he lets Alec Martinez by. How about Tim Downey Jr.? He's following Reggie Ortega. How big is the draft here? It might not be as big as you would think. No restrictor plate package here tonight. We're running the, I guess you could call it the road course package here as they head down to lap number 1 is complete. Ooh, Tim Downey Jr. deep on the brakes. You see the 19 part of the brakes up the road as well. Alec Martinez fighting for 8th place with that driver.
Yeah, these guys are hitting 200 miles an hour often in turn 1, so they're basically doing the speed that they would normally on the oval without the draft. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, the 48 locked up on the brakes heading to the International Horseshoe. Going to try to get that car right and heading back in the right direction. And he's got the 6 of Elliott Butler taking a look to his inside as well, but can't do it yet. Yusuf Ghali up the road. His brakes are already glowing red hot as Eli Hinton tries to close in from behind.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's amazing. These guys getting their stuff hot. Fortunately for them, track ice cold. 64 in the air, 64 on the track.
Oh, Elliott Butler loose on the curb on corner exit out of the West Horseshoe. That's Zach Halpern tucked in behind. Here comes Eli Hinton in 2nd place. Will he get a run into the bus stop here?
Looks like he's going to be a little bit cautious here. The bus stop, I think, is going to be a very hair-raising place to pass. It normally is in GT cars. Can't imagine how it is in stock cars.
Back on throttle again, trying to get that run going on the number 1 car. Everyone beginning to spread out a little bit, just biding their time, trying to figure out how these cars are going to race here. First lap through, Ghali led, but Eli Hinton's closing from 2nd.
Yeah, he's getting a bit of a toe on Ghali, but again, nothing crazy. Ghali actually going to the outside, trying to take a better line in, leaves the door open for Hinton.
Ooh, Hinton's close to the rear bumper of that 1 car. Ghali tries to defend on entry by arcing it in, but really kind of got closed up even more there by the 13.
Yeah, and you can't really give, it's kind of bad for Ghali giving Hinton that line, because if you give that 13 the line, he'll definitely take it, and he definitely thought of doing so in a turn 1, couldn't close in though.
Okay, that should have fixed that problem. Had some audio clipping there. Solved that issue, but back up front, it's Yusuf Ghali out for 0.4 of a second in front of Hinton. Looking back through the field, though, Finney, and no one's really close except for the 13th place car, Angelo Ronis, and the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. These guys are running relatively close together. Again, watching to see if the draft is playing a big factor, but it doesn't look like it is, so it's going to race more like a traditional road course tonight, I think.
pretty much those oval sections, just giant curved straightaways, I guess, is the best way to call them.
Ooh. Tim Downey Jr. downshifted in the middle of the bus stop and almost threw his car off the course. You got to be really careful not to make that mistake. Jordan Ashland and Alex Bell. Jordan Ashland, another driver that has had mixed success this year, but Alex Bell in that 15 has had quite a bit of success and is closing in from behind, maybe a pass for 6th here approaching.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate for Jordan Ashland last week. Was running really well up until unfortunate circumstances took him out of the race. But here he is having a good run in 6th place tonight.
I'm keeping an eye on everyone's lap times here because what you don't want to do is fry your tires because this is a long race. You're going to make a couple pit stops. You don't want to burn your stuff.
Speaking of which, Alex Martinez just went sliding off the track. He's struggling with power.
Well, let's take a quick look at the replay here, see what happened to the 18 of Alec Martinez. Quite good at the road courses, but I really say Watkins Glen is his bread and butter. But yeah, way deep on the brakes in the International Horseshoe, locked up big time. And then got back on the power, tried to compensate, and slid off the course on exit. We're going to see a lot of that tonight. I'd expect out of the slower corners, but he continues to drop down the order here, Finney. I wonder if it's a problem.
I think it's really the problem is that his tires have been hot. This is not the first time we've seen him sideways. He's been sideways quite a bit. I imagine those tires are red hot, and he's just struggling to get the traction down considering how much power this package has.
Alex Bell, Martin Sproul fighting for 7th. Martin really surprised me last week at Gateway. It was his first race. He finished 3rd. So this is a driver we have to keep an eye on as he takes the 15 of Alex Bell on the outside, but he drove in a little hot. Will he get a cut course? That was pretty cheeky there on the curbs. Yes, he did.
He's definitely going to get one. He's going to give up quite a bit of time.
Ooh,
and
for the lead.
Goes back on the speed.
Side by side for the lead. Here comes Eli Hinton on the outside lane in the Grid Life sponsored Camry. Number 13 adorned on the side. Around the road course ace at the line. The 13 will lead his first lap, and this is so very important to his championship hopes.
And here they go down into turn on. Oh, Lewis Magali almost hits the 13 trying to do a crossover to the outside. Can't get it done. That 13 at Hinton.
Whoa, no!
Going to take the lead.
Woo, Hinton all over the place as well. These guys driving, they're not leaving anything out there on the racetrack. They are going for it. Down on the brakes into the International Horseshoe. Does Hinton overdrive? Looks like Gali did a little bit. But he's going to get the better exit than the 13. Ooh, Hinton's all sorts of loose.
Yeah, he's still loose, still struggling to get the power down. Lighting up the rear is Gali trying to take advantage of that.
Oh man, into the West Horseshoe now, carrying that momentum to the outside curbs, back on the anchors. Whoa! The one car spins on the brakes.
Now he saves it though, does a lazy spin in the inside, but going to lose a lot of time. Adam Cabot's going to take 2nd place away from him.
Yeah, Cabot is one to watch for sure, but golly, an uncharacteristic mistake here at the road course. Spun and locked up the brakes heading into the corner. Here's another look at it. We'll ride from a different angle so you can see. Just gets on the brakes, almost gets in the back of 13, kind of panic brakes, jumps on the binders.
Oh, and off the oval, spins, and he might get another cut course here or something, because at a very lazy spin off the road course is now down on the below the yellow line, trying to get back up to speed.
Got back on the power a little too quick, and I think what we're going to see a lot, and we've already seen it with the 1 and the 18, is once you get loose, those tires will melt on you. So the 1 car struggling from 1st to 6th in half a lap. He's going to go to 7th here as Martin Sproul goes around the outside lane. Elliott Butler has Alec Martinez.
Oh, Sproul sideways into the bus stop. He saves it though. Wow, that was amazing.
I can't even focus on one group of cars because every time I look away, someone's out of control. Ooh, Butler loose over the curbs, and Martinez sideways. He's out in the grass again for a moment. Challenging racetrack already, Finney, and everyone wants throttle control back. Well, here you go.
Yeah, this is also a very unconventional layout for these guys to be on. So I'm sure pretty much almost every driver's out of their element unless they do sports car racing on the side, and they're kind of used to the way this track drives. I'm sure a lot of guys who don't will be kind of struggling to figure out how to drive this place.
So Gali trying to pick up where he left off by catching the 19 of Martin Sproul. Sproul's loose again. Oh man, that was a scary moment. Got it corrected again down into the International Horseshoe. He's going to go defensive to protect his line. Side by side, this is for 6th. Spectacular stuff here early in the going, but Adam Cabot closing the gap on Eli Hinton as the battle for 6th continues.
Yeah, the 77's been kind of lingering out, hasn't really done anything. I'm curious if this will pay dividends later in the run. Will Cabot definitely he's not been pushing as hard as the 13 and the 1. Hinton definitely pushing on the
Downey Jr. and I think Jeff Wright might have had a tussle here. Or was it completely separate? It was separate. The 25 on corner exit spun out, and then the 48, excuse me, way hot into the International Horseshoe and struggling big time. And we did not expect this out of the 48. He didn't qualify well. He's not racing well. And this is he's off the track again. This is his opportunity to get that lead back from Hinton in the championship, and this is not going the way the 48 needed to go tonight.
Oh yeah, his tires are hot. He's really hot as he goes wide, coming back onto the oval. He's struggling right now.
He is struggling. Meanwhile, and jumps the pavement there, re-entering the racetrack, and going to continue to lose more positions. Meanwhile, for the lead, Cabot has hunted down Eli Hinton for that top spot. So the lead might change hands 3 times in the first 6 or 7 laps here, Finney, and this is going to be a really competitive race.
Oh, it absolutely is, as we see both these guys head off into turn 1. So Cabot really closed up on entry there. I think he's starting to take advantage of Hinton, who's used up his tires by now.
Yeah, if you actually look at Adam Cabot's front tires, those brakes are not glowing nearly as much as the 13. So Cabot's being really light on the brakes right now, and I think this is the tendency of a lot of road course drivers is to use a lot less brake than their fellow oval companions. And what we'll see is that, I talked about this last night in the VRL race, Finney, is that oval drivers tend to overdrive the corners on entry. They charge corners because that's how you're fast at an oval. The slow in, fast out methodology, much better in road contact for the lead. Cabot gets in the back of the 13.
Everything's starting to heat up for these guys. You can see Cabot, he wants to lead, but yeah, it's so hard to judge these braking points with these stock cars because you can try to brake as hard as you can, but a lockup goes sliding potentially into someone else.
Yeah, here's another look at it from the nose of the 77. Gets off into the corner, just taps the 13. Great job by Hinton to save it. Good job on Cabot to let him have the spot back without running into him. And mutual respect there, although I'm sure the 13's a little befuzzled by that this early in the going. 56 minutes remaining in this race. It'll be a 40-lap race. We're 7 laps down already. Looking for battles throughout the field. How about Travato and Ashland? But I don't want to lose the lead too much because Adam Cabot just gained about a half second going into the bus stop.
Yeah, Travato doing a really good job tonight.
Cabot cut the course on corner exit, and here comes Clifton Cockrell to take second spot away. Cockrell ran really, really well at the Sonoma racetrack way back in the second race of the season. Jeff Wright, again, more problems, Finian.
Yeah, it's just been I think, really a night to forget for that 48. But, I mean, this also might be the night that he's going to throw the championship away.
It could be. He's going to lose a lot of points. There's a lot of cars here. So, already the 48 car struggling. William Troy has left the race already. Chris Garrett is about a minute behind the leaders. But Cockrell, and Jeff Wright drives through the bus stop. This is just incredibly frustrating. And I don't understand this, Finian. I mean, he was so good.
Battle for second place and third.
Reggie Ortega around as we go back to second place, second and third place battle.
Yeah, they were side by side in the international horseshoe for these guys, and Stravato also wanted a piece of it.
So mistakes abound for a lot of drivers in this field, ones that we didn't expect. Jeff Wright is just having an embarrassing evening after being almost a dominant race car at the Indianapolis road course and being the dominant car at Sonoma. Not sure what's up with him tonight, but he's certainly not showing his road course prowess. Meanwhile, Cabot has also made mistakes. Clifton Cockrell took that spot away from Cabot, but had to give it back there as Cabot is quicker. We saw Reggie Ortega go for a spin, but a lot of challenging moments on the brakes and on the throttle for these cars. Angelo Ronas, Alec Martinez, they're fighting for 10th spot as they head back onto the NASCAR Oval. Austin Karp in the number 9, he's off the racetrack as well. That's down in the West Horseshoe, I believe. Here's another one.
He was struggling with pace early on and just kind of struggling to get a feel for this track.
Yeah, so he goes around in the West Horseshoe, and he'll continue. Meanwhile, for second place, Cockrell, Cabot, Stravato, they've dragged Jordan Ashland into this fight for 5th as well.
Yeah, a lot of cars in this battle for second and for these top positions. Still a 4-second gap to the lead, however. Actually, sorry, 6.5 seconds now.
Looks like Jeff Wright might have pulled off the racetrack, but he called it a night. The frustration mounting for the 48, couldn't get consistent laps in, and that is going to be a huge hit in the championship. Over the curbs goes a 33 Stravato, a little bit cheeky there, cut the course a little bit, but it seems like he got away with it. Ooh, Cabot slipped on the brakes again. The 16 has gotten back around him for second place.
Yeah, these guys got to kind of sort it out here, otherwise they're going to lose the lead from Eli Hinton, or lose sight of him as he's really put down the hammer now.
Yeah, he's just not making mistakes, at least not nearly as many as the other drivers behind him are. Here comes Ashland up the inside of Stravato, and it looks like Stravato is just going to give it to him as he goes on through. But this might be an attrition-filled race from what we're seeing so far. I can't say I expected this with the grip levels being relatively high. Oh no, the one car drills the back of the 27. He goes for a loop. Yusuf Ghali goes around.
Yeah, Ashlyn gets off with pretty much nothing, only damage to the rear, but yeah, that definitely hurt the one, and Ghali's starting to slip off from his pace we saw earlier.
Yeah, the pole sitter of the night struggling just as much as anybody else in the field. Here's another look. Just completely missed the braking point, drills the 27, and goes for a loop awkwardly on the hairpin back on the NASCAR oval. So the one car struggling as well. Ashlyn and Stravato nose to tail through the bus stop. Martin Sproul closing back in. And I tell you right now, Eli Hinton is the quickest car on the racetrack pulling away. He has a 7-second lead now as the drivers behind him struggle to find grip.
Yeah, this is absolutely falling into Hinton's hands here as he crosses the line. We're going to start lap number 10. He's just putting on a fantastic race together. Really hasn't made any mistakes so far. Again, still quite a bit of ways to go as they're only a quarter of the way through.
Oh, Cabot passed the 16 on the tri-oval and slipped into turn 1. Managed to hang on to it, though, just long enough. And AJ Stravato, did he have an issue?
I think he might have.
Down on pit lane. Is this a scheduled stop here, Finney?
Indeed it is. So I was gonna wait to get the fuel for a few more laps, but I guess we could talk about it now. So these guys kind of interesting fuel situation. They can go about 13.3 laps on a tank at race pace. If they save a little bit more, they can go 14, and that's really important number to remember because if they go they can go 14, 27 to 28, and then make it to the end on 2 stops. However, otherwise it's going to be a 3-stop race. So a little bit of fuel strategy. So I definitely don't think the 13 is going to make it to the end of the rate he's going. I think he's definitely going to have to make 3 stops. I don't
oh
know
no, Cabot in the fence!
Oh, Cabot.
Oh, he had just gotten passed by Clifton Cockrell and then goes off into the next corner and drives right into the wall. I'm just amazed at how many of the drivers I'd typically call a road course ace, they're struggling horribly here tonight. Why is that the case? I mean, I drove this combination earlier, albeit in the daytime, and I was thrilled because I expected this to be a relatively, I don't want to say easy, but a relatively predictable car and track combination to drive, but that seems to clearly not be the case once the sun has gone down behind the horizon.
I think what it's due to is I think with the increased grip level on the track, I think guys expecting more out of these cars than they probably actually have, and I think that's what we're seeing the mistakes. I think due to overdriving.
That could be. Let's check back in with leader Eli Hinton. He's gained up to an 8.5 second lead. You mentioned that he can't go all the way to the end on fuel. Well, that's just dandy. He's got strategy to play with right now. He's got a big lead. He's got a lot of heat in those brakes in the front tires, so he's got to conserve his stuff. He's way out in front, doesn't need to be pushing it. As Yusuf Ghali and Alex Bell, they trades 5th. And Bell gets up inside the top 5. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I am curious, though, how these guys are going to play it out. So if you're going to do 3 stops, ideally you want to come down at around lap 10 or 11, but we'll see these guys go at least another 2 laps before they decide to make a pit road stop.
Angela Ronas on pit lane. Meanwhile, battle for 3rd. It's Jordan Ashton, Martin Sproul. Martin Sproul, again, I talked about how impressive he was last week at Gateway. He's also been pretty decent here at the road course so far tonight. Made a couple mistakes on the brakes and through the bus stop, but he's gaining that time back. And he's stomping on the throttle at the exit of the West Horseshoe down to the inside of Jordan Ashland. And Ashland's going to give him the spot. Sproul takes 3rd place away.
Yeah, and I'll see that 19 can get up into 2nd and past 16 Cockrell. Cockrell, though, a really good night for him so far.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about race number 2 at Sonoma. That's where we really got our first glimpse at who was going to be good on the road courses this season, and Cockrell was one of those drivers. It's been a while since I've looked at the Indianapolis road course race that we did a few months back, but I remember him having a decent run there as well. So seems like he's kind of got this stuff figured out.
Yeah, and actually, Cockrell has not finished slower than 6th on a road course all year out of the 3 we've been to Sonoma, Indy Road, and the Roval, so hasn't finished lower than 6. So good, consistent running for the 6 teams, definitely showing that prowess tonight.
Here's Tim Downey Jr. in 11th place after starting in 10th. He's been pretty consistent so far tonight. A bit of a slop. He's doing that downshift thing through the middle of the bus stop to rotate the car. It's kind of a messy shifting and turning strategy, but it is working. He has gotten that car rotated around. Yusuf Ghali and Alex Bell, they look like they were fighting for 5th again, but the position has not changed. So in terms of the pit strategy, you think it's going to be a 3-stopper that might be the way to go?
I think the way some of the guys in the front are going, I think they're going to probably go for 3. Oh, I see Sprout was off in the grass.
We were just talking about how consistent he was being, well, other than those slight mistakes. And let me try to get that Spec MX-5 logo off there. There we go. Here's a look at the 19 off into the International Horseshoe. And I think he just accelerated too much on exit here. Yep. And corrected off into the dirt. So a lot of off tracks. Good thing is there's not a ton to hit here on the infield section. So you can keep yourself pretty okay. Zach Halpern in the 20. This has been a surprising season for this 20, I believe, Finney. I really expected this 20 to come into the season and be a dominant car at a lot of racetracks, but he hasn't quite shown the speed, enough to really be a race-winning or championship contender. So, considering the end of the VRL season last year, I would have really thought this was a championship driver, but it doesn't look like he's got quite the pace, at least not here tonight.
Yeah, he's been kind of struggling at some of the rounds. He's been really good at other places and not so good at others. So again, you have to keep an eye on him at the Roval finished 17th. So I don't think the road course is quite fitting for this 20 car.
Bell and Gali fighting for 5th place again. Gali's got that nose all punched in, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him too bad as he goes back around the inside of that 15, and that will put the 1 back inside the top 5, at least for the moment, as we come to the start-finish line to conclude lap number 12 for these drivers. And Gali takes the wide line off into turn number 1 again. Arcs it in. And ooh, he's overcooked it a little bit. He seems like he's been arcing it in wide, but that doesn't seem like it's the best way to enter the corner, Finney, because you carry more speed than you really can off in there. As we it looks like we have Adam Cabot down on pit lane in that 77. I'm sure he wants some fresh tires.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get fresh tires on the thing, but he's also committing at this point to the 3-stop strategy. So we definitely know that 77 can't make it. Does anyone dare to stretch the fuel? We'll know after this lap. This is the last lap. Pretty much everyone can come down onto pit road. If they saved a little bit more, they can go an extra lap.
Alex Bell got back by Yusuf. Gali and Bell's off the course in the West Horseshoe, and Gali gets a spot back. A dogfight here for the 5th spot. Meanwhile, Clifton Cockrell is eaten into Eli Hinton's lead. It's down to 6.5. It was 8.5, but he still has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, definitely has a lot of work to do. I think a lot of these guys can potentially overtake that 13 with some strategy, but again, that accounts for the fact that they started saving since the drop of the green flag.
On the brakes again, right before the 200 board into the bus stop for the 16. Over the very low-profile curbs in the bus stop here. Not a lot to help you rotate. Even Cockrell doing the shifting mid-bus stop. That's not a strategy I've seen. And it's something you really wouldn't typically see drivers do because it unsettles the car, but these guys are actually using it to their advantage. An interesting strategy in terms of getting the car to rotate through the bus stop.
Hinton not coming into the pits this time. Cockrell will come on through. So will Ashland and Sproul. Oh boy. So if Hinton could pull this off, he's going to definitely win this race, granted he doesn't make a mistake. So that's going to be a real eye-opener here.
We'll see how this goes as we have 3 of the following drivers that were following that 13 car coming to pit lane. It seemed like Cockrell really didn't push it into the pit lane area, though. Hinton maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. Can he get all the way back around? It's a very, very big racetrack. Look, it's 3.5 miles, Finney, and so that's about a gallon of fuel in these cars, so he better hope that he can get all the way back around.
Yeah, if he runs out of fuel, this could put his race in danger.
And you remember back to the Roval, that's what happened.
Yeah.
He really had the race in hand, but kept running out of fuel, and that's what ended up losing him the race.
I'll honestly be amazed if he can make it all the way back, because if anyone's been pushing, it's been the 13.
He did give up 2 seconds, though, prior to that 16 car reeling him down to 6 seconds, or chopping that lead down. So maybe he did save enough. AJ Stravato has worked his way up into 2nd place. Reggie Ortega in 3rd. Reggie Ortega has also not come to pit lane yet, Finney, and so he's also on the same strategy as the 13, but about 30 seconds behind the leader.
Into making it through the bus stop. If he can gas it up here and make it around halfway through the turn, he should be good.
Yeah, I mean, you still don't want to really coast all that much because you'll lose a lot of ground, and it's pretty easy to lose 6 seconds worth of ground. Brian Chambliss in the 21, down on pit lane here, Finian, and this seems to be a pretty lengthy stop. And I'm not sure if he's going to get back rolling here or not.
And Hinton's made it back on a pit road with apparently plenty of fuel to spare, so solid job by the 13 saving that fuel.
So lap number 15, the 13 car is going to come into the pit lane. And what's that going to do for the rest of the field? It looks like the pit stop adds another 10 to 15 seconds onto your lap. So where is Reggie Ortega? He's going to come down as well. Yes, he is. So AJ Stravato, Finney, he's already pitted once. But he's 5 laps into that run. So Stravato leads this race now on a very different strategy than the leader, or who was the leader prior to that pit stop sequence. Here comes Martin Sproul. So it looks like Hinton might have given up a little bit of time, or a lot of time rather, as Sproul was caught back up quite a bit.
Oh, he's gone wide.
Yes, he did. So the
I actually thought he was going to go a lot further. The track did a great job saving it, but yeah, he's caught up to Hinton. But again, Hinton is definitely saved enough to go the distance. Now, everyone else, you can still save on this stint, although, again, when you're saving fuel, typically you're going to lose out sometime.
So my question to you, Finney, is that it's lap 15 of 40. So if he goes another 15 laps, that's lap 30 of lap 40. So am I missing something?
No. He came in lap 14. He completed 14 laps.
I see. So he can do on 3 stops, or 2 stops.
He's gonna do 14, either 27 or 28.
I see. Okay, all right. So okay, I thought it was gonna be a 1-stopper instead of a 2 or something. I wasn't thinking, but thank you for clarifying that. So yeah, so that's gonna be a good call for Hinton. So the problem is he's got to make that fuel last the whole run this time as well. I would imagine, right?
No. If he can make it to at least 27, he can then go another 13. He can go 13-13 for the rest of the race. So I think he should be good. From here on out. Might have to save another one, but he's already saved it for one stint and didn't really lose that much time, so keep an eye on the 13, see how he goes, but I think this race is definitely starting to fall in his hands.
Zach Halpern and Reggie Ortega, they're fighting for 13th. You saw how much heat that 20 car has in his brakes as the 2 had just returned to the racetrack and has a lot of brake heat left to spare. No glow on the rotors of that number 2 car. We'll ride on board with the 20 as they head into the bus stop. I just want to ride on board that right front suspension again. Watch the brake rotors as we head down to the bus stop. Watch how much they glow. This is the 20, and they're just completely, almost white hot. And we're going to go on Reggie Ortega's. Nothing on the 2 car.
Yeah,
oh, contact!
Oh!
Drills the 20. They crash, and they smash the wall on the exit of the bus stop. The 20 car destroyed in that incident. What happened there?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering as well. Oh.
Let's go back and look. And the 25... No. Ooh, the 20 car just slowed down. Oh, there was an incident in front of them, too.
Yeah. Chris Garrett, he hit the wall hard coming out of the bus stop.
So maybe they were slowing down. Oh, yes, here's another look at it. Already had a ton of damage. We didn't see where this came from, but made a big mistake here on exit. Ends up smashing into the fence. I think the 20 car was slowing down to miss it, and the 2 car didn't see it. Ran into the back of the 20, and big damage for both those cars. Wow. And it looks like Reggie Ortega and Zach Halpern are probably going to call it a night there. That's really unfortunate. Halpern getting some tires on that car. He might return to the racetrack. Ortega's car pretty well destroyed, though.
Yeah, especially on the engine, too. That's going to hurt his power down these long straightaways, so I think he's pretty much going to be a non-factor at this point. Kind of unfortunate because he's having a pretty solid night.
Eli Hinton last time through around a 140, or should have run a 140. Actually, let's look at his best lap time. We're on column, Kyle. But he does have, I believe, one of the quickest laps of the race. So as he comes across the line, we'll see what AJ Stravato is running versus what Eli Hinton is running. So Hinton this time through ran a 141.914. And I don't have a time for Stravato last time through, so we'll keep an eye on it.
144.6.
Okay, so 3 seconds quicker for the 13, so significantly quicker. And
yeah, I think that's because AJ already used up the good in his tires, so he's started to fall off the pace.
We only have 14 cars running. We've had a bunch call it a night, including one of the championship contenders, Jeff Wright. He's down and out for the rest of the night. That's an unfortunate change of events for the 48 and the championship. So last week, the luck not in the 13's favor. This week, it seems to be so far. Elliott Butler, he's spun out. That's down in turn number 1.
Yeah, Butler, another guy who also needs a solid finish because he can't really afford for Hinton to get that far away from him. So otherwise, he's going to be effectively out of it.
Looks like he followed the 18 of Alec Martinez into overdriving the corner and just didn't save it. The 18 managed to correct the slide. The 6 car coming in a bit faster, downshifted, and that's what unbalanced the car, sent him around for a loop. So Elliott Butler with a spin. For fourth place, Clifton Cockrell and Adam Cabot. Cabot's running quicker laps and is closing in. This will be a battle for fourth here as soon as the 77 gets there.
Yeah, we've seen Sprout, Cockrell, and Cabot. They've been kind of exchanging blows here and there. This entire group of cars has been pretty much trailing Hinton for the most part since the drop of the green flag in different orders. But none have really been able to take away that position from the 13.
Riding on board again with Adam Cabot, keeping an eye on the gap. It's about 0.4 of a second between them. And look at the speedometer, the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, 195. Will we see 200 here? 196, 197, 197 miles an hour, then jumping on the anchors for turn number 1. And expertly does Adam Cabot negotiate that corner. Eli Hinton's taken another couple seconds out of AJ Stravato's lead. Down to 7.6 seconds now. Working lap number 18, and take a look at our lap since pit. That means Stravato is about halfway, a little bit past halfway, to pitting again.
Yeah, I expects Stravato to come in the next 2 laps.
Cabot a bit wide through the West Horseshoe, struggling to get that car down. I just haven't seen the consistency out of the 77 tonight. He certainly has the speed, has one of the best laps on the racetrack in terms of overall time, just can't seem to keep it on the course, at least on the racing line. Yusuf Ghali also recovering from his mistakes early in the race. He's got Alec Martinez behind him. I expected more out of the 18 car as well here. It seemed like, again, we had talked about his Watkins Glen experience. He's very good there, and this is, I wouldn't call it a similar racetrack to Watkins Glen at all, but it's certainly a faster road course. And the 18 car struggling a little bit, running 10th right now.
Yeah, you just really, we're kind of talking a bit. He's really struggling to figure out this layout, which was surprising to me because, as you're saying, he's a pretty solid road course racer. So that took me a bit by surprise. But yeah, just in general tonight, between him and Wright and a few other drivers, it's kind of surprising seeing the guys who are struggling here tonight. Definitely the guys who wouldn't expect to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the drivers that have had the most problems tonight, I'd say, are the 1 of Yusuf Ghali, the 48 of Jeff Wright, and the 77 of Adam Cabot. And those are the 3 drivers I would have expected to be at the top of the board without any issues. And they just really struggled, especially that 48. I don't know what happened, but something was not right inside that cockpit. And it led to the 48 leaving the race early, packing up, going home. So, again, an unfortunate finish. Eli Hinton continues to reel in leader AJ Stravato. It's now 4.8 seconds between him and that 33. But for the 13, Finney, you're not really racing the 33. So how do you keep yourself reeled back in and prevent yourself from outdriving yourself?
I think really just try to keep ahead of the 19. Look at the relative. Keep a decent number in mind. Don't let that 19 catch up. Don't really extend too far past the number. Just keep a decent pace. Because you remember, all you have to do is you got to beat the guy. You don't have to beat him by X amount of seconds. So as long as you can keep a decent pace in front of the 19, that shouldn't really be pushing the issue. I definitely think the race will walk in his hands. But yeah, this 13 on a much better pace in the second half of this chase than he was before. That blunder at the Roval on strategy that really cost him. But here he is on a perfect strategy so far tonight.
3.3 seconds. Oh, Stravato cut the bus stop there just a little bit. He'll have to give up a lot of time. Could see the pass here within the next lap. And Stravato had to slow up just a little bit after cutting the bus stop there, that first curb. And Hinton trying to chase him back down. Closest battle on the racetrack is really 3rd through 5th, about 1.7 seconds apart. But this is a really, I wouldn't call it an endurance race. It's not that long, but it certainly feels like it's not bumper-to-bumper action that we're concerned about. It's more strategical action, which is very much how the Roval was a couple weeks back. Now down to 1.3 seconds for Eli Hinton.
Yeah, he's really caught that 33 up, and again, like you said, he's not entirely racing at 33 because that 33 is going to have to make an extra stop. So I imagine, though, Hinton's probably going to want to try to get around this 33 to keep going fast on the rest of his stint.
Next time they get to the start-finish line, the race will be halfway over. Brian Chambliss back out on the racetrack right in front of these leaders. He's about to go a lap down, so the 21 not having a particularly good night. And Stravato's internet really struggling as well, so that's another thing to keep in mind as the 13 closes and bears down. Both the brakes on each of these Toyota Camrys, hot and bothered as here comes the 13 for the top spot. Travato not even going to fight him. He knows he's on a completely different strategy.
Yeah, so Strada just going to go in behind the 30. I think AJ might even come in this time, maybe next time. It's kind of due off the way he's going. It's about due for him to come down next time. Martin Sprouts kind of lost Eli Hinton over the bit. He was keeping some pretty good pace in the beginning of this run, but has slowly drifted back.
Travato was really deep on the brakes there. Let's take a quick look at that from the back of Eli Hinton's machine as they head into the braking zone. Whoa, that was a scary moment for the 13 driver, probably looking in the mirror. So we are going to get to about the halfway point, lap number 21 of 40. Halfway through this race, Eli Hinton has been in control of it, a lot of it at least, as Jordan Ashland, I believe, has hit pit road again. Yes, he has. Ooh, big damage on the 27. Terminal looking damage. He's been out. And here's a look. Way too fast. And oh, that was a vicious impact into the tire barrier, re-entering the NASCAR course, and just could not get that car stopped. Almost looks like he had a brake failure. Just completely understeered right into the fence. And that'll be the end of the night for the 27. What a shame.
Yeah, I think he just missed his braking point by a split second. And, I mean, these guys are going pretty fast once they get up to speed. So, they unfortunately missed it by too much. Couldn't slow down. Yeah, that wall. People underestimate that wall, but it's claimed a lot of race cars over the years.
You know what? Oh, Finney, go back and listen to the 27 as he got on the brakes. Almost like he went to the clutch by mistake. I mean,
oh, yeah. Oh.
He just jumped on the clutch, and I don't know if he was trying to save fuel or if he completely missed the brake pedal, but by the time he had it figured out, he was way too deep into the corner and couldn't stop.
Yeah. I guess that was exactly why. So that explains why he didn't get slowed down. Couldn't use the engine to slow the car down.
Yeah, I mean, and you need that. That's a majorly underrated part of driving a stock car on road courses. If you were to just put the car in neutral and try to stop, your brakes would be roasted in just a couple of laps. You need that engine braking and downshifting to help you slow the car down. And once you put the car in neutral, especially if you don't have your foot on the brake pedal, that certainly helps to slow down. You're going to just keep rolling. And the 27 car, hard impact into the tire barrier. And probably tried to save fuel and just couldn't get the car slowed. Angelo Ronas, Alec Martinez, this is for 8th place. Alex seems like he's gotten that car pointed in the right direction, a little bit more consistent than before, runs a bit wide through the bus stop, trying to catch that 29.
Yeah, he's been trying to kind of catch up for what happened in the first part of this race, but is, yeah, like you said, starting to turn his night around. We'll see if he can continue up the order as a few drivers ahead of him that he can potentially pass.
Check back in with Clifton Cockrell. He's gotten around Martin Sproul for 3rd, so put that 16 car potentially in contention to go after the 13 of Eli Hinton. We'll take a look at our lap since pit once again. You see that Cockrell is only 1 lap off of Eli Hinton's strategy, so maybe this 16 car, if he's got enough pace to go get that 13, he could be a contender at the end of this. Still 19 laps to go.
Yeah, I think the big problem for these guys is unless they save that extra lap on this stint, I mean, they could, I guess, do it on the final stint, but they're going to need to save another lap of fuel. So they're short. We know Hinton's good to the end, so it's just a matter for everyone else to be able to catch up. Otherwise, they're going to have to make another stop, and that's eventually going to hand this race to the 13 on a silver platter.
He's got the strategy figured out, does the 13. And you know, sometimes you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be the smartest. And whatever calculations are going on inside that 13 car right now, they've been spot on so far. They were off at the Roval, Finian, when they made those mistakes. Running out of fuel about a quarter of a lap before the pit road, that really sealed the fate for the 13 on winning that race after being very competitive for most of it. Looks like he's got those woes kind of figured out here tonight. We'll see how he does. Martin Sproul trying to close back in on Cockrell here.
Yeah, that 19's been trying to reel in the 13, but I definitely think Cockrell is much better on the second part of the stint. I think the 19 just burns up his stuff a little bit too early on in the run. So Cockrell now taking advantage of that. He'll go around. We'll see if he can get around AJ Travato, who I'm actually surprised hasn't pit yet.
Yeah, hasn't made that trip down to pit lane yet. We'll see if he does maybe this time or next time, but he's running out of laps to do it. He's got to come to pit road relatively soon. The 33 and 16 continue to fight for 2nd place. That's brought Sproul and Adam Cabot's about 4 seconds back from this fight, and that 77 right at the back of that shot there, that green and white Lawn Tech 77 Camaro. But Cockrell now under attack from Sprouse. Sprouse deep on the brakes to the inside of the 16. Cockrell runs a bit wide, gives him the space, but the 19 can't quite stick the nose down in there, so he'll back off and try again.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to cost these guys some time that they really don't have without 13 in the front.
Yeah, Eli Hinton to stretch his lead back out to 5.5 seconds. It's almost where it was when he came to pit road a few laps ago, about 8 or 9 laps ago. So it's 5.7, continues to grow. As we watch the closest battle on the racetrack right now, it is for second place. Cockrell, Stravato, Martin Sproul all lined up trying to get that P2 spot away from the 33. There's the leader, and there's the battle for second.
Yeah, we'll say though, Stravato really caught up with everyone with the way he pit. Definitely threw himself back into the fight. Whoa, as he's off the track in the bus stop.
I was just go back, take a look at Cabot real quick. He was all sorts of sideways. Who'd you say? Oh, it was the 33 was sideways off. And here's a look.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, you're not really going to catch the moment he did go off.
Oh, yeah. Lost the internet there for a moment, but back again, and he'll hit pit road this time by. As Cockrell and Sprouse still fighting for second place, and Eli Hinton stretched that lead out to 7 seconds, and it's still growing as he pulls away here. Oh no, Sprouse sideways in the fence hard at the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt his car there. That was a really hard lick. That's solid concrete right there.
Yeah, no safer barrier there behind him. Cabot gets knocked off the course by the 21, and both the 19 and the 77 are off in the International Horseshoe. And both those cars are going to lose even more time, so effectively we just went from a 5-car race down to a 2-car race between the 13 and the 16. Here's a look first at the 19's issue. We're right on board with them for this one. Downshifted, got on the power, then we'll go up the road to Cabot as he was avoiding this incident with the 19. And the 21 shoots over and just they make a little bit of contact and sends the 77 off course. So a dramatic moment there for third and fourth, excuse me. But that's left Eli Hinton in control of this race by 7.6 seconds. Clifton Cockrell, the only other driver that I have to say has not made a major mistake yet tonight.
Yeah, that pretty much threw the 77 and the 19 out of the fight for second place. They're quite a bit ways behind now.
Yeah, it's 7 seconds back to Adam Cabot in third. There he is with Martin Sproul trying to recover from his incident. Again, Sproul's left front probably damaged. Looked like he had a lot of trouble with right-hand turn there through the bus stop, so he's struggling as well. Matt White in the 70 down on pit lane here, Finian. Probably a scheduled stop for that GoPro Camaro. So checking back in with leader Eli Hinton. So he has to basically go to lap number 27, 26, 27, something like that. So he's only a couple laps away from a pit stop.
Yeah, effectively, really everyone needs to get to around 27, 28. Those are really the magic numbers.
Up the road.
I imagine some guys might pick on pit on 26. If not, then you're really going to be in danger of having to make an extra stop.
See the 2-car of Reggie Ortega, the front end completely torn off that machine after an issue with Zach Halpern at the exit of the bus stop quite a few laps ago. And both those cars back out on the racetrack. Halpern with the nose back on that car. So he has that mostly repaired. Angelo Ronis down on pit lane for his stop here, Finian.
Yeah, 29 coming in to make his stop. He's definitely going to have to make another one for tonight, pitting on lap 25.
Martin Sproul trying to catch Adam Cabot again. These guys have been around each other all night. They've had a lot of issues around each other all night. No contact necessarily, but they are continuing to lose time to the 13.
Also probably sick of each other at this point, to seeing each other pretty much being around each other the entire night, not really making much progress, and definitely not after losing a whole lot of time to the leader.
So coming to 15 laps to go, we'll be working lap number 26 of 40 here momentarily as Cabot takes the bus stop. Oh, the 19, he's out of control. This is going to hurt Finney if he doesn't get it under control. He does. An excellent save, but he'll continue to lose more time again. Just issues compounding on issues. Just came in way too hot. Completely missed the braking zone. Out of control, and this might have been a downshifting issue as well. Here's another look. And just slid right through the grass. We're right on board. Yeah, it was a little bit of downshift, a little bit of wheel hop, a little bit of too much speed, but, you know, Finney, I always talk about the importance of knowing how to shift and knowing how to shift properly and safely. And one of those things includes rev matching properly. We've seen a lot of drivers downshift kind of messy, and it throws the car off balance. And I don't think that the importance of shifting properly can be understated. And if you're running auto clutch, you're better off just turning that off and learning how to do it the right way, because it will hurt you in shifting. But Sproul, again, he was carrying way too much speed into that corner, made another mistake. What I'll say, though, is that Cockrell is at least matching the lap times of that 13. Maybe not necessarily closing in on him a lot, but matching the times for sure.
Yeah, and he actually just let Matt White in a 70 on by, because Matt White actually just came to make his pit stop, so infinitely fast 16. I think he figured might as well just let that guy on by.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a scary moment for the 16 on corner exit, returning to the NASCAR course. Here's a look. Just got on the power a bit too much. He let that 70 car by, had a bad angle getting back on the racetrack, had the right rear tire on the curb, and made a pretty big slip up there on exit. Gave up about a second and a half. So no one really close together right now at the moment, so we'll take this moment to debrief, just talk about what we've seen so far. I think the word of the night is attrition, not necessarily crash damage, but we've seen a lot of the drivers we expected to be contenders for the win making big mistakes as Cockrell hits pit lane.
Yeah, and speaking of big mistakes, I don't think you cannot talk about Jeff Wright in the 48. He's going to finish all the way back in 19th. And Eli Hinton, his main rival, is on course to win this race, and I don't think I really have to say much to talk about what implications that's going to have for the playoffs. That's effectively going to give Hinton almost a full race lead.
Yeah, I mean,
over that 48.
And the field size wasn't huge, but also wasn't very small tonight. So the points that 13 car will gain in that 48 are going to be very large. And there's some drivers we don't typically see running. Golly Cabot in there, as well as Clifton Cockrell, who we haven't seen a whole lot of recently. So the fact that those drivers are not going to necessarily be competing next week means that the 48 can't pass those drivers to get his points back. So just more cars to distance the 13 from the 48 in the championship picture here. So Hinton leads. The 16 has hit pit lane, and I do expect to see this 13 momentarily. Martinez, Clifton Cockrell. Cockrell returning to the racetrack. Martinez just going to let him on by. Fighting a different fight tonight. AJ Stravado, Finney off the timing and scoring monitor for a little bit too long this time, I think.
Oh yeah, hasn't officially dropped just yet, so there might be some hope. But yeah, honestly, I'm not too surprised the way his internet's been tonight. He's been flashing quite a bit, and this might have been the one time he might not come back.
Yeah, so unfortunately for the 33, the internet issues. Oh, the 18 car in the fence hard! That was at the exit of the road course section. He's stuck in the tire barrier and can't remove his vehicle, and exactly what happened to Jordan Ashland happened to the 18. Of course, the 18 not in the chase, but that'll be the end of his night. Another big mistake as he flew into the fence. He was already loose on corner exit, and here's a look. Oh, just too fast, too hard, and locked up and got into the barrier too much.
And then officially AJ Stravado has dropped from the race. So
AJ Stravado out, and the 18 hard into the fence. That's a real shame for Stravado, though. Showed a lot of speed tonight, Finian, and looks like tonight not going to be the night again for the 33. Meanwhile, Martin Sproul has hit pit lane. Alex Bell stays on the racetrack. Oh, he's hot down into turn 1, though. He's locked up the brakes.
Yeah, he goes a little bit wide, but he's going to save it. But yeah, so Sproul on track with everyone. I'm trying to look. Where's Cockrell?
Cockrell, I believe, is entering the International Horseshoe. Yes, he is, in that Valvoline number 16.
So he completed 26 laps on the tank. Sorry, he completed 13. So he's gone 13 to 13. He has to go 14, otherwise he's got the pit coming to the white flag. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that. So, but we definitely know Sproul's going to be good for the rest of this race.
But is there anyone that is in an advantageous position over the 13? I'm impressed to think that there is right now with the way this 13 has got the strategy sorted out. And I don't see anybody that can take this one away from him.
Yeah, I'd say really the only guy I think could is got to be Clifton Cockrell, but I don't think Cockrell can match the pace, the raw pace that this 13 has. And that's where we maybe having an issue. Whoa!
Here he comes.
Very close between, yeah, I was going to say very close between Tim Downey Jr. and the 13, but Eli's going to come in to make his final stop of the race.
Meanwhile, for second place, Clifton Cockrell and Alex Bell have just traded second place. So Cockrell, the one that we're watching with this 13. He's the only one I think can take this away, but with the advantage the 13's going to have on tires when he rejoins the racetrack, it's going to be hard to take it away. So 13 waiting to get tires put on that vehicle as Cockrell closes the gap very quickly. And we'll pull up the track map here to show you what the situation is as the 13 rejoins. And it's going to be pretty close, but I don't think the 16 is going to be able to complete the pass necessarily. No, he won't. So the 13 gets out in front, about 2 seconds out in front of Cockrell. And just like that, Eli Hinton keeps the lead. And this is what hurt him at the Roval, is that he didn't have a big enough lead to be able to make that pit stop, and that time he did. And 13 maintains his lead with about 12 laps to go. Cockrell going to do everything in his power to get in front of that 13. Can't do it. Alex Bell hits pit road behind. But it's between these two cars up front for that top spot.
Oh, Cockrell's definitely pushing. I think he feels he's got the tires warmed up better than the 13. He's got a shot here. But he's got to make this pass now. Once that 13 has his tires warmed up to temperature, he's going to be gone.
Yeah, already you can see the 13 gained so much on the brakes alone. Just a slight difference in tires. It's about 2 laps worth. And that's going to be certainly enough to give the 13 a massive advantage these last 10 or so laps.
And Yusuf Ghali has also officially called it a night. Not sure what happened to him.
The attrition level continues to rise. And whoa, the 13 a little bit loose on the entry to the bus stop, but collects it. And there is Adam Cabot in third. And he's trying to recover from a night that, again, had he not had his mistakes, he could be leading this race right now. And that's the frustrating thing. When you're this late in the race, you look back and you see those leaders right in front of you and think back to your off-track excursions. You could have been leading this one had you made less mistakes. They all compound and can send you pretty far down the order. .197 miles an hour off into the corner again. He's close. I don't think he's going to have enough tires. We take another look. Yeah, he's just on the same tires that Cockrell is. Alex Bell on the newest tires other than Eli Hinton. Well, the 15's got a little work to do to get up to 4th place Martin Sprout. So we came into the chase here, Finney, after a race at Gateway last week where we saw some attrition, some contact. The 13 car ended up getting spun, and the championship lead that he could have gotten a huge lead on didn't materialize last week. But this week it looks like the 13 is going to walk out of here with a huge points lead, if he can finish where he is.
Yeah, I just kind of did some basic math. Obviously, you're going to have to wait for the final standings, but race winner gets 30 points just off the bat for finishing. 19th gets only 7. So that's the points spread we're looking at. I mean, that's what, 23-point difference just from the race alone, not including the bonus points. So the 2 that Hinton's going to get over Jeff Wright. So that's 25-point difference just after this week. It's going to be 29 in the point standings. I mean, at this point, I mean, obviously still got 2 more races, but you might as well give that trophy to the 13 already.
Let's ride on board with the 13 for a lap. We're just going to be quiet. Not technically a SimTV sound charge, we'll just let you listen to the sounds of a road course lap here at Daytona. Bit of a scary moment for the 77 as he exited the bus stop there. Got a little bit sideways, but they continue to fight for second place as the 13 of Hinton stretches the lead out now to 2 seconds. As the two Camaros behind him duke it out for best of the rest.
Yeah, and at this point, there's nothing really much that these two can do, other than really fight it out amongst themselves. That 13 is going to drive off into this night sky, unless he makes a mistake. Granted, we've seen almost everyone make a mistake. It almost feels like that 13 should, but yeah, he's just having a pretty good race so far.
That's one thing, Finney, is that of the drivers to make mistakes, I mean, the 13 has made a lot of mistakes this year, and this is a place where it's very easy to make mistakes, but he has not made a significant one tonight, which is especially surprising considering some of the best road course drivers in the series couldn't get the handle on it this evening. So, just a well thought out, good drive by the 13, and by Clifton Cockrell as well. I think this is an underrated drive for him. He's been there all night, hasn't made any mistakes, at least not as many as everyone else has, and he's sitting in contention at least for a podium spot.
Yeah, actually looking back, where is fourth place? That would be Martin Sproul, who's just now exiting the road course section.
Yeah, and his damage on that left front is hurting him a little bit, but not as much as maybe we expected with that wall contact there. See, he got him to pick up a bit of grass on the inside of the bus stop on the back straightaway. So 9 laps to go. It'll be 8 when Hinton comes back around here in that newly sponsored Grid Life machine. And again, speaking of Grid Life, we want to remind you that on Wednesday this week, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get to see 5 leagues go up against each other. All 5 leagues are SimTV customers, and 10 of their best from each league will compete on Wednesday night in a 2-race battle. 1 race at Watkins Glen with the Mazda MX-5, 1 race at the Old Michigan with the old 2012 Chevrolet SS Cup car, or the Impala SS COT. So that's going to be 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday. 10 of the best from each of the leagues on SimTV, all duking it out. That includes drivers. I believe Adam Cabot is one of the ones that is entered, as well as I believe Reggie Ortega is entered. But Jeff Wright certainly is, as well as Chad Frankenfield, Matt Grunberg from the 3-wide side of things. Zach Buchanan. I don't know if Mitch Welker was, but Fuel also has a strong lineup, at least in the works, as well as IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman, Grid Life Touring Cup drivers Jeremy Swenson, Eric Coutil, and DJ Alessandrini. Road course ace Robert Hartley, he has a 9,000 rating. He'll be competing on Wednesday night in the MX-5 and the COT, so that's going to be a fun one to watch, see if he can turn left as well as he can turn right. But Finney, I think that's probably one of the more anticipated races I know I've been excited for on our channel.
Yeah, definitely. Really looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward more to the oval race than the road race. I think we both know how the road race is going to play out as far as the finishing order. But really seeing some of the Inter drivers going on the oval, for a lot of them, I think the first time being as well. Just see them tackle the oval, I think it's going to be a hell of a show, especially up against some of the best oval drivers we've seen on iRacing in general.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of road course drivers that might not understand the intricacies of turning left, especially at a place like Michigan, so it's going to be really interesting to see how well they embrace that, as well as seeing really who of the oval drivers can hang with the big guys up there at Watkins Glen International. So that's going to be a really fun one Wednesday night again on SimTV right here. So looking forward to that battle on Wednesday, but the battle right now on the racetrack has fizzled as Eli Hinton's lead is stretched out to 3.8 seconds. He's been the dominant car of the night, and the biggest foe that he would have been that 40 of Jeff Wright, but from the very beginning didn't qualify well and had a miserable first couple laps of the race. Only made it about 10 laps, a little bit less than that actually. So really big struggles for the 48. Going to change up the points a lot as Cockrell and Cabot continue to fight for second. Cabot runs wide in the West Horseshoe. Around the racetrack, but no one else really close at the moment, Finney.
I was about to say, it's been pretty quiet in the last quarter of this race, with quite a few drivers calling it quits recently. Well, not calling it quits, some unfortunately retiring due to some hardware difficulties, as AJ Servato put in Discord had some trouble with his computer that really took him out of it. But a lot of retirements, a lot of guys are left down, only 8 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, 8 cars on the lead lap, and I think we've had almost half our field have crash damage or leave due to other technical issues. So
Yeah.
really a high race of attrition, very much like the Charlotte Roval a couple weeks back. I just really didn't expect this race to run like that. And
Yeah, honestly, in that case, you and me are both surprised.
well, I think part of it is that it's unfamiliar to everybody here. I mean, I had never turned a lap on the road course in a Cup car until earlier this afternoon, and I bet most of the drivers here also didn't. When you go to a racetrack like Sonoma or Watkins Glen, there's this familiarity to it. You know what you're doing, you've done it before, you know where the braking zones are, you know how much you can push the car in different conditions. Tonight, a totally new combination, one that drivers probably didn't practice all that much for and probably didn't expect to have the grip levels be as high as they are, and when the grip level's high, you need to push, and when you push, it's easy to step over the line, and that's what a lot of drivers have done tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers just didn't really know where that line was. So once you cross it, you can't go really back over without making some sort of error. Whoa! Speaking of which, I just saw Hinton go sideways out of the West Horseshoe, but that's as much of a mistake he's made tonight.
Let's take a quick look, see how sideways he was, and stepped on the throttle. Woo! Just hung it out a little bit. That's what you call a fun little power slide. Now, we've seen some other drivers go for a bit more than that. Looks like Cabot is finally rearing up that 16 car. He's getting close, but he can't seem to get by him. They're on equal tires, equal footing, and they're only have about 5 laps to go, so Cabot's got to push the issue now.
Yeah, I was going to say, he actually caught up because Clifton Cockrell also did a little bit of a power slide out of the West Horseshoe, but that allowed Cabot to reel himself back in.
Jumping on the brakes now. And does the 16 overdrive? No, he doesn't. The 77 doesn't either. Alex Bell running 5th in that number 15. We haven't talked a whole lot about Alex Bell tonight, but his road course program has really stepped up. Ran really well at the Roval. Did he win the Roval?
No, it was Trebanks.
Oh, that's right. But that team as a whole, I think he ran podium there, second or third. He ran
really well.
Really well.
He's been running really well as of late. In fact, actually, if I look at Alex Bell's he's finished in the top 5 in the last 6 races, so very consistent as of late for the 50 car.
Cockrell wide in turn 1, bobbled on the brakes. Here comes Cabot for second place. 5 to go.
Yeah, this battle is on. Cabot's going to work on by that 16, but definitely we know Cockrell is no sleeper. He's going to want that back.
And can he force the 77 into making another mistake? He's made it a lot tonight. The 77 tight out of the International Horseshoe as they head down to the west end of the infield road course.
Yeah, I think definitely if you know if a driver's prone to overdriving, definitely it's a lot easier to make them force them to
here
make
it
a
is.
mistake.
Oh, the 77 a little hot into the corner. Neither of them apex that very well as they both miss the exit. And the 16 a little bit messier than the 77 as they head down towards the re-entry back onto the oval. And Cockrell tries to close back up under braking, and now it's going to be a drag race to the bus stop chicane on the backstretch. Cabot driving it in a slide, getting back up onto the banking.
Yeah, even Cockrell too was struggling to get the power down, although got it better down than the 77. He's going to have a bit of a run on the back straightaway.
0.3 of a second as they come out of NASCAR turn 2. They head to the bus stop now. 2.5 of a second. Cabot waiting to jump on the brakes. Here comes the 16 hard and deep on those binders into the bus stop over the curbs. 16 much better exit here. He did close the gap. Now can he make a run on the 77 down into turn 1?
Yeah, had a much better entry and exit, so really key for that 16. We've seen him, he's closing in on that 77. Now it's a matter of getting around. Can he try to outbrake him in turn 1?
There's the 13 right by the start-finish line. You see those other 2 cars 8 seconds back as they cross the line. 4 laps to go. Battle for second. Oh, the 77. Oh, he's in hot. He's in way hot, but does he get it down? No, he slides out wide. Here comes the 16. He's going to try to take second place away side by side as they go through turn 2. The 77 out through the dirt in the grass, tries to regain his composure, but the 16 back through to second.
Yeah, I think Cockrell also kind of pinched him a bit into the grass trying to get him loose, so he was able to get around. Cabot's really been struggling with turn 1. That's a 7. It's been quite a few times that he made a mistake down there.
There's another look at that exiting turn 1 there. Ooh, that was a bit tight, but they're going to head down to the West Horseshoe again, still fighting. Now can Cabot put the pressure back on the 16? It's going to be a close one here as they head down the re-entry back to the oval again. The 77 late on the brakes. Nice apex for the 16. Drifts a little wide on exit. The 77 tries to gas it back up, driving into slide again. He's certainly hitting up those rear tires, though, which is helping him when he's behind, but hurting him when he's out in front of that 16.
Yeah, but now Now Cabot just trying to run behind at 16. I think he's going to wait for now Cockrell to make a mistake.
Angelo Ronas just up the road, lap vehicle, all the way back in 8th place. They head to the bus stop. Nice clean entry and exit for those cars that time through. And they actually managed to not lose a whole lot of time to that 13 last time by. Somehow the 16 car goes high, trying to draft off the 29. That's not going to be the quick way around.
Yeah. I was going to say, he actually lost a hell of a... He lost a lot of time doing that.
And the 77 is going to have a head of steam. We've seen the 77 break deep. He's not afraid to go in deep down into turn 1, but he has run wide, so will he be more conservative this time through? Hard on the brakes again. 3 laps to go for the leader, Eli Hinton, who's 8 seconds up the road. The 77 is going to try to cross the 16 over. Here he comes. Get back on throttle. Going to be a drag race down to the International Horseshoe. The 16 covers to defend. Now they're going to head to the corner, and the 77 looks left. Deep on the brakes to the quarter panel. Maybe try to cross him over here. Contact between the two.
And they come outside of the International Horseshoe, now racing it down to the West Horseshoe. Looks like Cockrell got a good one off the corner. Cabot trying to get the power down.
Ooh, a bit of a naughty moment there for the 77. Got in the back of the 16, crinkled up that left rear. And then he's going to try to cross him up here through the West Horseshoe over the curb. He's right there. He's going to try to get straight, gas it up, but he can't quite get the power down, but neither can the 16. Drag race down to the next corner.
Cabot with a much better exit. Here they come back onto the oval. They go. Cabot trying to do the crossover. Can't get it done. Cockrell trying to get up to speed.
An incredible.
Looks like he's going to defend.
An incredible battle here for second place. Hinton's gone, but the battle for second has turned into one of the most intense all season. Here comes the 77, pushing the 16. Who's going to get to the bus stop first?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be that 16, although will Cabot dare to make a pass in the bus stop? I don't think we have seen someone do it yet.
On the brakes again. Oh, the 77's deep contact. They're both going to miss it. The 16 car has to cut it. The 77, all sorts of slow through the middle of the bus stop, but they made contact, and the 16's going to have to give up some time here.
Yeah, we'll see. Yep, Cockrell's letting off, trying to give up that time penalty, but he's way ahead of Cabot now.
Yeah, let's go back quickly, take a look before that 77 gets back there. Just too deep on the brakes for the 77. It was never going to make that corner as it was. And drilled the back of the 16, and Cockrell smartly drove straight on through, didn't even attempt to make the bus stop because he wouldn't have made it. And he maintained second place, so he was able to give up that time.
Yeah, I was going to say, did a great call there to not even attempt to just go straight through, take the penalty. He's going to be out ahead of that 77, although has some damage to that left rear.
Elliott Butler and Tim Downey Jr. believe they just traded spots. The 6 car moves up into 6th, Tim Downey Jr. into 7th. And we'll keep an eye on the 16 and 77 because there'll be no love lost between those two. While that was happening, though, Eli Hinton has stretched his lead out to 11.3 seconds. He's been the dominant car tonight. He's got the strategy figured out, the two-stopper, the way to go for that Grid Life Toyota Camry. And he's going to have about 5 miles left in this race. And he's got no challenge from behind. What a great battle between the 16 and 77. It's a shame it had to come to an end a bit early. I don't know if the 77's going to have enough pace to get back. Oh no, the 77!
No, definitely won't.
Oh,
into the wall he goes.
That's a big hit too. And that's going to be how that second place battle ends on exit. Bobbles got the wall pretty good. It's a full 18 seconds back to Martin Sproul in 4th, but he's got no chance to hunt down 4 seconds worth on Cockrell unless he makes a big mistake.
Yeah, meanwhile, Eli Hinton, he's going to round out of turn 4 to these giant grandstands. Flagman's going to have the white flag in the air, and I mean, how about this kid? You can say what you want about him, but what a fantastic race he's put on.
At times this season, he's been probably the least popular driver on the racetrack. And, you know, the thing about drivers like Eli Hinton is that they don't let it get to their head. They go out there and they just show why they're worthy of being talked about. And in so many races this season, he could have, should have, and didn't win. And that includes Gateway last week, probably one of the fastest cars there, and didn't win because he had contact with the 36 of Joshua Banks, who ended up going off to win the race. And Eli Hinton rebounds this week and has just been a cracking performance, and half a lap left for this 13. And at the right
really
time, too. I mean, it's a perfect time for him to get a victory.
Yeah, perfect time to get a victory once his championship rival really struggling. He's going to take pretty much full advantage of that, and this will give him a huge points lead, and I think might be enough to carry him through the next 2 weeks, but we'll have to watch. But I mean, just incredible drive that he's had here.
Now, there's extra drive there for him to win. There's payment on the line every time this 13 car visits victory lane. And a couple times this season, he has earned that reward, and he will again tonight as long as he concludes his last half a lap. And again, he has not been popular. His first win at ISM Raceway came with a bit of drama, knocking out the leader and going on to win that race. It was not popular. But this one, no drama here for the 13, all on his own. And through the final couple of corners, he just continues to dominate. Clifton Cockrell, as we get into the final couple laps here, he's got to be pretty close on fuel as well. 13 laps for him and Cabot. They've been out there for a while. So is Angelo Ronis. But out of the final corner for the 13, the championship looked far away in the middle part of the season. But as we conclude chase race number 4, Eli Hinton is your new championship favorite. He goes to victory lane at Daytona.
Yeah, for the second time this season for that 13, it's a great job by him. Out of turn 4 will also come Clifton Cockrell. He'll get to the line. He will finish in second after a great run for his team. And 77, Adam Cabot, I'm sure he's going to be disappointed, made quite a few mistakes tonight. He'll come home in third, but I think he's going to be wondering what could have been.
Martin Sproul about 10 seconds back in that number 19 car. Another top 5 performance, only his second race into the series. This is a driver, if he sticks around for the future, you have to keep an eye on him. And then it's going to be a long ways back to find Alex Bell in the 15. Got some big damage on that car from something, but still running in fifth.
He got that recent 39. I'm trying to find out where he got that.
Oh, let's go back and take a gander here.
Oh, exit of the road course.
Same spot as before, I'd imagine. Yeah. Yes. And overcooked it and got into the fence hard and was lucky enough he didn't get stuck. But it'll be a top 5 for Alex Bell as he comes across the line. And again, for the 15, the good luck continues.
Yeah, it's another going to add to his stretch of top 5 finishes. This 15's been on a roll lately. Hopefully he can at least carry this into next season.
The 6 of Elliott Butler, the last driver running on the lead lap. For the 6, not a bad race. I mean, P6 ain't bad. Yeah. It wasn't a drama-free race, but he started 14th, so this is certainly going to be a positive result for that driver.
Yeah, it really hasn't been an eventful night. I don't think we've talked a lot about Butler tonight, but definitely has made it to the end here, avoided all the attrition. There's some slight dents to the car, but all in all, in a good shape, and he'll come across the line in 6th.
He'll be the last driver to complete this race. Everyone else a lap down or more, but Eli Hinton, the dominant night for that 13, the strategy call atop the pit box, excellent this evening. And you have to, again, you said before that you can say what you want about him, but you can't deny that he's a talented race car driver and might not be popular, but it's not often that you get a talent like this that at the beginning of the season things looked bleak, but he comes back at the end and he's just looking really, really solid for the championship. And he's going to try to burn out on the banking too. This will be interesting. Try it for a moment as he gets back rolling, and we'll ride on board or stay with this 13 as he comes back around. But it's just been a tumultuous season. There's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of twists and turns in this young man's career. But the twists and turns turned out to be a good thing for him tonight. Comes on through this 11-turn road course after 40 laps. Completely had the field covered. And celebration. Here's a look at your race results. It was Clifton Cockrell coming home P2. I'm sure he wanted the victory, Finney, but that's a good, solid run for that 16 car as well.
Yeah, definitely can't be disappointed about that. I mean, really, I think he'll only be disappointed the fact that he didn't get the win. It was so close. You know, second place is always the first loser, but definitely solid run. And we haven't talked about a lot about him on the road courses. He's definitely, you can kind of throw him to the category of road runner because he definitely brings out his talent when he gets to the road courses.
Absolutely. And of course, for the 48 of Jeff Wright, a 19th place finish is going to be disastrous for his championship hopes. He's been one of the best drivers all year long, and for it to fall apart, he's kind of had the reverse effect that the 13 car has had. The 13's luck has upturned, the 48's has downturned, although tonight, not so much luck as it was mistakes for Jeff Wright. So hopefully he's got that car pointed back in the right direction next week. But we're going to jump to break momentarily. We'll be right back. We're going to talk to Eli Hinton, Clifton Cockrell, Adam Cabot, and several others. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to SimTV, here now with driver AJ Stravato driving the number 33 Toyota Camry. AJ, tonight, not the race you wanted. Some technical issues prevented you from potentially getting a race victory. Walk us through your night.
Definitely didn't get a good start at the very beginning. I mistimed that pretty badly. Had good speed though, was kind of around second to fifth, kind of speed over there. And I figured, you know what, why not short pit, see what we can do and save a little bit of fuel, to mix it up a little bit. And I was going to be short anyways, to be honest. I was about a lap. I could have saved fuel, but we'll never know because coming towards my second and hopefully last pit stop, my computer just decided just to stop working. So it's all good. It's a lot of fun out there. It was fun up towards the front, and definitely enjoyed being around those guys in the top five. It's definitely fun road course racing. There's a different element to it.
The Daytona road course seemed like it was really challenging tonight. What made it so tricky out there? Because the track was, or should have been, relatively grippy with the low temps. So what made it so challenging?
I think the setup a little bit. After like a couple laps, you really had to kind of baby the throttle, getting out of the corner and just making sure you're getting out there on a straight line so you can kind of save the car, make sure it has some speed. It was an awesome setup though. I'm not complaining, but it was good to definitely see that setup was a big role in it. Just because you have a lot of grip out there on the track and there's a lot of weather to determine that. Doesn't always mean there's going to be a lot of grip out there. Just depends on the setup.
All right, well, AJ Stravato comes home 16th tonight. Could have been a little bit better, but technical issues ending the night early. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to move on now to the next driver, which will be the 15 of Alex Bell. Alex, a top 5 result here tonight for you in that number 15 SWA Motorsports Camaro. You said that you did nothing but finish top 5. Well, you didn't do nothing. You raced very nice and only had one little mistake there towards the end of the race. Just walk us through your night and how you managed to get yourself a top 5.
Yeah, really, it was mainly just based on strategy, trying to keep up the same strategy that Eli was doing. Kind of knew his strategy was probably the one to win the race, so I was just trying to really keep up with him. And outside of that, I really feel like I didn't do too much. Really, I kept it off the walls and everything until the last little mess up there, and just try to keep all 4 tires on the track. Really.
Talk to me a little bit more about the Daytona road course and the challenges, maybe under the brakes as well. We saw a lot of drivers struggling there. Could you move the brake bias back? Did anybody try to do that to get some more controllability in the cars?
I was trying to move the brake bias a lot, really. With these stock cars and how heavy they are, man, the brakes aren't even close to being enough to being able to slow these things down no matter what your brake bias is at. I have a lot of experience here at the Daytona road course in the C7s. I've done like the last 324-hour of Daytonas in the C7s here, so I was trying to base it off on that, and it's not even close. So that was really a big struggle with the brakes today.
All right, well, Alex Bell comes home P5, the number 15 SWA Motorsports Camaro. Alex, thanks for talking.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too. Move on now to the next driver. It's going to be the 77 Adam Cabot. Adam, kind of a wild night for you. Some mistakes for sure, but a third-place result. Can't be too upset with how that night went.
Yeah, wild is, I guess, probably an understatement. I'm shocked that I got back up to third, but yeah, I just made so many mistakes. Was totally overdriving the car, and these guys were all really good, and I didn't really practice for it, which was a mistake. And if I could have just kept all 4 wheels in the track and not gotten stuck in tire barriers and flown into the back of the 16 and all that, then I might have been up there with Eli. But congrats to him. He made me race on the edge that whole first stint, and that's why I made mistakes. If he wasn't out in front of me and I wasn't trying to pass him, I wouldn't have been on the edge as much. So yeah, congrats to him. But pretty embarrassing night for myself. But hopefully it was at least entertaining to watch.
It was certainly entertaining, Adam. But just talk to us a bit more about making mistakes here. Do you think that the night racing with the cooler temperatures made this racetrack a little bit trickier because you were so on edge at the edge of the limit of what the tires could give?
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, that and just how much downforce these cars have, it's like you're either, planted in the track or out of control. And I'm not, that's not my skill set. That's why the Roval and VRL with the Xfinity car, it was hot, slick, low downforce. You can feel the car through the corner and feel when it's starting to over rotate. And I think that's why I excelled in that race. But this, it's like you can't just go off of feel. You got to really really know where your marks are, hit all your marks, and kind of drive at like, at least for me, I don't know what Eli was doing, but I kind of had to drive at 80% because if I didn't, then you saw what you all saw what happened when I tried driving 100%. It didn't look pretty. So,
all right. Well, third place, a podium finish for the 77 of Adam Cabot, the Lawn Tech Camaro P3 tonight. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, move on now to second place driver Clifton Cockrell. And Clifton, you ran a really, really nice race tonight. Short of Eli Hinton by 13 seconds. What'd you need to go up there and catch that 13?
I needed a few less mistakes. I kept getting on the gas a little too much. A little more throttle control would have helped me out. I don't think I would have caught Eli. Even if I would I got past him? I don't know. But it was it was a lot of fun trying.
A lot of fuel saving tonight, a lot of different strategies. What made you choose the decision that you made, and why'd you go with it?
I basically just waited for the spotter to tell me I had one lap left, and then I pitted, and I got lucky there at the end. I was sputtering at the end of the race there just as I was crossing the finish line.
All right, well, Clifton Cockrell, second place in his Valvoline Camaro here tonight. Clifton, thanks for talking.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. I'll talk to the man of the hour, driver number 13, Eli Hinton. Second win of the season. Eli, this one, I don't think anyone can take away what you did tonight. Absolute domination here. The strategy, the speed, everything was there for a victory, and it's at such an important time in the championship. Walk us through your race, your strategy decisions, your strategy calls, and how you're able to hold off some of the best road racers in the series.
Well, my strategy was to, get up front, keep the car clean, and hopefully just get a top 5. Coming in today, I was kind of nervous about Daytona road course because at any road course, I kind of struggled, and I figured it would be similar to that, but it kind of felt like Watkins going out there, which I'm pretty good at Watkins. And yeah, I got to the front, and I stayed up there, and a few people made some mistakes, and got to the lead.
Were you surprised at all? Because we certainly were in the booth. Were you surprised at how many mistakes some of the best road racers in the series were making? We saw the one of Yusuf Ghali, who's very well renowned at road course racing. He made a bunch of mistakes. Adam Cabot in the 77 as well as the 48 of Jeff Wright, who finished 19th tonight after having a couple abysmal laps. Are you surprised at the number of incidents that were out there? Or do you think it was that tricky that tripped up so many people?
I was really surprised in the beginning. I thought the first few laps, people would keep it clean, and people would start making mistakes, like losing their focus. Like at the beginning, I can't remember who, but like a couple people kept making mistakes, and I just passed them. I mean, I wasn't trying to push or anything.
And
I kind of struggled the first 12 weeks of the season, man. I was struggling, and then past like 6 or 7 weeks, I've been contending for the win every week. It seems like.
Well, that's what
finally got one.
That's what we were talking about in the booth prior to talking to you. Is that the first half of the season wasn't looking so great, but things have turned around. Only a couple races left in the season. How does this 13 Toyota Camry end up with the championship trophy, and what do you need to do the next 2 weeks?
I just need to keep it clean, man. Not get wrecked. Give some space. The points have been updated. I'm 28 points to the lead right now, in front of Elliott Butler, I think. And we got Rockingham, which should be really fun, and Atlanta should also be kind of fun. One of the better tracks with the 550 horsepower package. Yeah, just keep the car clean.
Well, Eli Hinton is going to be a little bit richer at the end of the night, and a second victory of the season in a very, very important part of the season as well, walking out with a 28-point lead over Jeff Wright. Elliott Butler. So this is going to be a really exciting next couple weeks. Eli, congratulations. We'll talk to you later.
Yep, thanks.
And I think that's going to do it for our interview tonight, Finney. But wow, what a race out there. We saw so much adversity, so many issues with some of the best of the series. We've reiterated it a bunch of times because it's that surprising to me, especially that 48 who probably just threw a championship away tonight.
Yeah, it really was kind of a bit of a surprise. A lot of guys driving aggressively, and as Rick Allen would tell you, aggressive does go around. So, yeah, I think a lot of guys just expecting too much out of the car, leading to a lot of mistakes, but that 13 man was just in a world of his own. Didn't make any errors, and I think that's the perfect way we saw why he was at the top of the standings.
Mistake-free for the 13 of Eli Hinton, but that's going to be it for the night. Hinton on top, Cockrell, Abbott, the rest of your podium. Well, the next thing that's going to be on Sim TV is going to be Tuesday night, Grid Life iRacers Stadium Super Trucks, and then Wednesday night, Grid Life Fuel 3-wide. What else? Who else we got out there? Outsider Racing League, Scars, They're all competing to see who's the best on SimTV. 10 drivers from each league going head-to-head Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. at Watkins Glen in the MX-5 and at Michigan in the old COT. It's going to be a blast. Wait for that link to come up because you're not going to want to miss that one. Wednesday, 9:30. All the leagues going in it for a SimTV All-Star Race. We'll see you there on Wednesday and on Tuesday night for Grid Life iRacers. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.